Hello friends, this is Jennifer Terri and welcome to my channel. As promised from our last video, in this video we will talk about the quarantine hotel procedures. What are you going to do in your quarantine hotel? What are the things that you should do? And yeah, what are the procedures? Before we proceed, please consider subscribing and liking this video. It helps the channel tremendously. I know that many of you are not subscribed, so please consider subscribing. So without further ado, let's start. So when you arrive in your quarantine hotel, you check in. The main thing that you will do is wait for your test. So in this video, we will divide the procedures into three. COVID test, your COVID testing, the final destination requirements, and quarantine certificate. So let's go ahead. So through the process you underwent at the airport, the registration and verification process at the airport, your COVID testing laboratory at this time already knows or already has a record of where you are quarantined. So coordinate with your hotel as to your COVID testing. So these hotels, the people at the hotel are knowledgeable of the quarantine and testing rules. So at the same way, your COVID testing lab will also coordinate with your hotel for your COVID testing. So while on quarantine, monitor your health, your temperature, check out if there is any COVID symptoms at all. Because if you develop COVID symptoms like dry cough, shortness of breath, loss of taste and smell, etc. So at any time before your scheduled test, okay, if you have any COVID symptoms before your scheduled test, please inform the hotel you are staying at. So a medical or a Bureau of Quarantine officer can assess and check up on you immediately. To their assessment, you may have to undergo your COVID testing earlier. So if you are a Philippine Airlines passenger, you will therefore have the ToxiCare as your testing lab. So if your COVID testing is the ToxiCare, on the third day of your quarantine stay, you will receive a follow-up email that confirms the hotel you are staying in and updates your health through an assessment checklist. So you must answer this online form no later than day 4 of your stay. So to confirm, visit the online portal. So let's have a look at this portal. So now let's go to the link where you have to register to confirm your COVID testing with the ToxiCare with Philippine Airlines private testing lab. So here is the link. I'll have this on the description box. Okay, so you have to answer this form before day 4 of your quarantine. So first up, you have the unique reference code. So this was sent on your email upon your registration with the COVID test. So just put it in there and then birth date, email address, mobile number, and then current facility location. So here is cities. So let's say you quarantine in Manila, then there you go. There's the list of quarantine hotels. You just find your hotel there and then just click next and I'll guide you. It's pretty straightforward. On the day 5 of your stay, the ToxiCare may contact you or your hotel to confirm your schedule and location. So please be reminded that the schedule of your test may be postponed the next day or at a later date for any unforeseen circumstances, like typhoons or flash floods, strikes, things like that, extraordinary circumstances. Now, if you are not flying with Philippine Airlines, your two options are either Philippine Airport Testing Lab, PAD Lab, or Red Cross. So if you are availing the service of PAD Lab, as I spoke to their customer service today after trying for almost a week, calling more than 6 numbers, they finally answered tonight. So their staff member told me that you'll have to contact them when you get to your quarantine hotel to confirm your test. Anyway, on the day of your COVID testing, please present your passport, your COVID registration along with your QR code, which should be in your email, the payment receipt to the personnel who will administer your test. So they will go either in a prescribed area in your quarantine hotel or inside your room. So to follow up on the test results, contact Philippine Airlines Detoxicare if you are availing their service. Here's their contact information, their numbers, and their email. So screenshot this if you want. So if you are availing, on the other hand, if you're availing Philippine Diagnostic Lab, PADLab, here is their information. They have a Facebook page which is pretty responsive. They have an email, 2 emails I will give to you, and numbers. So many numbers. Like I tried calling all of these numbers and not unresponsive. But this one that ends with 4399, this is the one I got hold of. So that's your COVID test. That's the COVID test part. So what else should you be doing while you're in quarantine? Next part, final destination requirements. So coordinate with the local government. Actually, I think that you should coordinate with your local government unit even before you arrive in the Philippines. Because just so you have an idea on the travel requirements, the quarantine protocols there. Don't be like one of our subscribers who bought his ticket without knowing the rules, the quarantine rules in his local government unit, and now he's so shocked. He didn't know that he had to quarantine for 14 days upon arrival there, despite quarantining in Manila. That's right. Some provinces are very strict. Even if you quarantine in Manila for 6 days, when you arrive there, you still have to do 14 days quarantine, okay? I'm saying some provinces are really strict. So, best to contact them, yeah? So, for the requirements of your final destination, contact your local government unit. If you have friends or relatives in the area, have them inquire with the barangay officials. For the general requirements, general requirements for cities and provinces would be, of course, the result of your negative COVID test, a certificate of quarantine, which we'll talk about later, a travel authority. So this travel authority, you can get this either at a police station, or if you are going to a domestic flight to go your final destination, you can get this at the airport. So another requirement could be a letter of acceptance. So again, contact your local government unit even before you arrive to the Philippines. Now, you had your test on your 6th day, and then the result came out and you're negative. Yay! The next thing to do is certificate of quarantine. Obtain your certificate of quarantine. So you need this to get out of your hotel quarantine. To obtain your certificate of quarantine, do the following. First, register online at quarantinecertificate.com. I'll show you. For the quarantine certificate, let's go to quarantinecertificate.com. Here it is. As you can see, you just have to put in here we have some passport number if available, and then last name, first name. It's very easy, guys, basic information. And then you also have to attach a copy of the bio page of your passport down below, and then just click submit. That's it. After you do this, send an email. Next step is send requirements. So send the scanned copy or send a copy of your negative COVID result. Take a screenshot, or if you have the PDF file, attach it on the email. And also send a scanned copy of the bio page of your passport. So do those things. If in case you'll need to follow up your request for your quarantine certificate, here are their numbers. So contact them if there's any delay. So some people got their quarantine certificate pretty quick, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I spoke with somebody who had to wait for 10 hours, and there was another person who had to wait for another day. So it's varying. The waiting time for this quarantine certificate is varying. Once you get your quarantine certificate, so you have your negative test result for your COVID and your quarantine certificate, present it to the reception, and then you will be cleared from your hotel quarantine. You are free! Yay! So once you're cleared, you can now call your relatives to pick you up, or you can coordinate with your local government unit, or you can arrange your own transportation going home. General rule is that you continue the 14 days quarantine in your home. So depending again with the rules of your local government, yeah? Once you arrive in your local government unit, you have to report to your barangay officials, and they will instruct you on what you have to do. For some areas, it's only home quarantine, but there are areas who will require you to quarantine in an isolation facility. Some in a hotel. So I'm telling you guys, you should contact your local government unit before you arrive to the Philippines. So that is all for this video. In summary, the 3 procedures that you need to do is COVID test, coordinate for your COVID test, undergo your COVID test, wait for the result of your COVID test. Second step is your final destination requirements, coordinate with your local government unit. And you have to let them know your expected day of arrival in your area. And lastly is your quarantine certificate. Again, I told you just register through the quarantinecertificate.com and then send a copy of your passport. Also include your full name, and then also attach the copy of your negative COVID result. Okay? So that is all for this video, friends. I hope this gave you an idea and clarity. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and I will see you again with another update. Bye!